Hello and welcome to Insights and Inspirations brought to you by Finally Spoken. I'm Dee and I'm here to bring you a dose of positivity. I always believe in the wisdom of the elderly. After all, they have been through a lot of things in life, while us, the younger ones, might just be in the middle of our journey or the beginning. I feel like the elderly have this cheat sheet or those life hacks to live a successful and happy life. From living all those years and making a million decisions. So that is why I love conversations with my grandmother. I feel like the things that I learned from her should not be kept to myself, that I should share it to the world. Hence this sort of podcast was born. This is fueled by the thought that I wouldn't want to forget it. And so I wanted to record it and curate it and somehow listen to it in the future. And to remind myself every now and again of all the things that I have learned from my grandmother. I want to share it not just to family and friends, but to the world, to those who need it, to those who wants to listen, to those looking for something to inspire them, to fuel them. I sincerely feel like it would be selfish for me to just keep it to myself, since I want to share it to anyone who's willing to listen. After all, one of the things she told me is that if it brings out the good in anyone, share it. Let me take you back some years ago when I was around 24 years old. It was around 4 years after I graduated college. Me and my grandmother, who was then 85-year-old, had gone into talking while watching a TV show. I told her how my classmates are abroad and working and earning this much and having all sorts of adventures, all plastered in social media. I even showed him one of the pictures. Her response was, "So how does that make you feel?" And I answered, "Of course it makes me feel a bit behind, like I'm lagging. And at times, as much as I did not want to admit it, a bit jealous." I told her sometimes it makes me feel stuck. I told her sometimes it makes me feel like I'm moving at a snail's pace. Then she told me this statement that I would never forget. The grass is greener where you water it. Back then, I couldn't quite comprehend what she meant by that. I had an inkling, but I didn't really deep dive into the thought of thinking about that meaning. I thought it was just her saying it so she could have a ploy for me to stay in her hometown. But now I revisited the conversation. And that was when I understood what she meant. You see, there is a tendency for us to look at the lives of others and go, "Wow, she's doing so well. Why can't I be like that?" It might appear that way, but we only see a very small amount of picture, a snippet of that sorts. You don't see what they had to go through just to be there and present that successful, happy front. To you, it's just one picture. To them, it might have been an end or a climax to a very long and arduous journey. But from the outside looking in, more often, that this is what we obsess about, the snippet, that small fraction of their lives that's there for the public to see. If you're not careful, it fuels depression and a lot of bad things that would damage your mental health. We go from that into obsessing about other people's seemingly perfect lives, which is a very dangerous place to be in. being caught up with others, you'd be unable to look after your own life. You're mesmerized with someone else's garden, so to speak, that we fail to water our own. And that's when the grass dies. Hence the notion, the grass is greener on the other side because you keep on looking at it and you fail to water yours. We keep feeling sorry for ourselves or keep seeing the lack and the limitation that we fail to see just how incredibly blessed we are. In every second of every day, the moment you open your eyes, you are already blessed with so much because that is a chance to work on your life, to work on yourself, to work towards that goal. We are all given the same number of minutes, the same 24 hours, but it's up to us on what we do on those number of hours. It all boils down to the choices. For some, we have advantages in front of us, but resources, even if it's there so abundantly right in front of us, if we do not use it to achieve our dreams, if we lay there and look at others, look at the stars and keep on wishing, nothing's gonna happen. Because although the world might be good at manifesting things, it is not a wishing factory. You have to work on things because you reap what you sow. And if you don't plant anything, you're not gonna harvest anything. That's not gonna happen, and nobody's gonna dole you out things just for free. You have to work on it. I think what my grandma is trying to say is that we should work on our own lives and our own journey, water our own grass. Sure, there are different types of soil. Some are fertile, some are inhospitable. Someone born in a first world country like the US versus someone who's born in a developing country like the Philippines, both have different starting points. Admittedly, those born in high bracket countries are more often have a lot of disadvantages than their counterparts. And at times, you always have to remember this though, that even if they're born in such a country, you see, not all fertile soil will actually allow you to bloom as well, because circumstances might prevent you from prospering. That being said, even if you live in a first world country and you don't take advantage of your privileges, you would not be as successful as your cohort. It's all about working on ourselves, taking our advantages, making that our framework for success, and continuously learning on what to do to continually do good, get inspired from our disadvantages, taking that in, all the criticisms, all the naysayers, and learning from it and building on that. And at the end of the day, I think it's okay to look at other people. I think it's okay to admire them, but not to get caught up with it. Not to get discouraged, but instead get inspired to work hard and to tend your own garden. Create your own timeline. We didn't start off in this world at the same time. No. We were brought into this world at different timelines. We are going to live this world at different timelines. So don't be discouraged if your pace is not as fast as others. Don't say that you want to give up because you're not making good choices than others. Maybe you have a lot of things to learn. That's the biggest part of life. You learn, you let go, you carry on. We all have different paths to take. Choose yours and work in it. Put your soul and heart into toiling it. Nowadays, we are bombarded with images of success from other people, both famous and, your next door neighbor, your high school classmate, grade school classmates. I mean, if you come to think of it, rarely do people post about their failures, ain't it? Instead, look at it this way. If you see a successful person, if you see someone having a vacation and having been able to earn that vacation, learn about the backstory. Learn about that person's struggle or success and get inspired. Learn how he did it. If you can emulate it, then do so. But do not linger. Do not be upset that you're not doing what he's doing, because in this world, we're meant to play a different role. So go on, water your own garden. And like my Lola, my grandmother used to say, the grass is greener where you water it. This is T, and that's your dose of positivity.